Okay, so let's go through the business tracker. This is actually my favorite part about this referral maker CRM because you can track your business and you can see previous years, you can strive for goals, different things like that. So over here on the left, you have your business section and you have a dashboard. You can keep track of your transactions. You can put in your business goals. You can also put in your circle goals if you would like. Your weekly activity goals. This is where you set how many calls you're supposed to make during the week, how many notes, stuff like that. Annual activity goals, and you can even do some expenses and some property matches if you want to get into that. But just real quick to the business dashboard. So it'll just give you a little indicator here. You know, where are you at the year and how close are you to your goal? How many referrals have been generated? How many closings based on those referrals? Right now, my business by referral in the last 12 months is 90%. So only 10% came from other sources. It's going to tell you how many contacts you need in order to get to one referral and how many referrals you need in order to close. Right now, I need 2 referrals to close 1. So it's going to show you some different stats like your average sales price, your average list price. These actually have come in handy for me. Recently, I was going for a particular listing and I was able to give her these numbers. When you go into your transactions, you can keep track of your pipeline by your potential. You can keep track of who's currently active, who's currently under contract, and you can keep track of your closed transactions. And I even keep track of the ones that I didn't convert. Maybe they decided to go for sale by owner like this first one, or maybe they decided to go with a different realtor, or maybe they lost their job and they've not been converted. They were not converted as a buyer or seller anymore. So in order to add a new transaction, you can go one of 2 ways. You can go to transactions and you can click add new transaction right here, or you can actually in the contact, let's go back to Amy Smith again. Our friend Amy Smith, you can over here on the right, transactions, and see what transactions you've done for Amy Smith, and you can add one right here. So it's going to take you back to the same window either way. So at this point, you need to decide, is Amy a buyer or seller? Is she a buyer and a seller or a lease? Or are you getting a referral fee from another agent from Amy? So let's say that she is a buyer. Let's say that she's not active yet. She's still talking about doing this in 6 or so months. So she's a potential at that point. And so because she's not active, we don't have a property address for her, and we don't have property details from her, but you can kind of put in some stuff. So let's say you got this from, let's see, you got it. Let's say you got it from the Buffini network. Another agent sent it to you. You can mark whether you're like, she's pretty likely to close. She's been talking pretty seriously. You can put in her sales price here. Can't remember. Yeah, it does take commas. And you can do the closing date. A lot of times when I'm putting people in potential, if they're not like, we want to buy by the summer, I might mark them as December. But let's say that she said that she wants to buy the first part of the fall. So let's go ahead and put her in as, closing maybe the end of November. And because she's a buyer, we do 3% commission there. And then you need to put your split. What's your split with Sky? Put that in here. Let's say you're at 80%. And let's say you have your E&O fee. So then on Amy, you have a potential of 7,140. And you would just save that. And it would show up. We're going to save it. And then I got to remember to take these out. It would show up over here. Where is she? There she is. Amy Smith. Address is to be determined, likely, and it's going to add to your pipeline there. Now, let's say Amy Smith, it's rolled around to August and she's in the market now, and now she's active. And when you save it, now it's going to show up in your actives right there. Let's say you got her under contract for a property. Now she's pending. And now you're going to be able to put her new, or however you want to do. Okay, so she's buying a place over on South First, let's say. When you save this, obviously, just like before, she's going to show up in your pendings. There she is right there. When you close this, it's going to actually say, do you want to put their address, their new address, as their primary address? So let's pretend to do that. Let's say we are now certain. Let's say the price, actually, she thought she was going to do 300. We ended up doing like 375 instead, because we know that happens a lot. So look, the income went up a little bit. And we are going to mark her closed. We just closed on her. So whenever you close this, it's going to say, would you like to update the buyer's record? I'm not sure if it actually popped up or not, but it's going to show up as her new address is going to already do this. So you don't have to go into Amy Smith and edit her new address. Let's say it's a investor and you don't want to add this as their primary address because they're buying investment property. You can click no. It's going to create an anniversary reminder. So see up here at the top, I went into the transaction. If you don't want an anniversary reminder, you can remove it. But now you're going to have an anniversary reminder this time next year that a year ago she bought. So maybe you use that for gifts or different reminders that you want to do. So that's how you add a transaction, and that's how you keep track of a new buyer or seller. Let's go back over in transactions. Let's say you're adding a seller. It's going to be very, very similar. Let's say we are going to skip everything. Amy's now selling her property. And so it would have populated. If I had clicked yes, all of this would have populated. And so you would have already have that. And then you can put in your transaction details just like you did before in order to keep track of your income. So everything that you do here is going to keep track, and it's going to affect your business dashboard. So this is how you're going to keep up with your income and your goals. And it's perfect. So you'll be able to look at previous years. Let's say we want to look at what we did in 2019. We'll be able to see, we obviously don't have any actives for previous years, but you'll be able to see your closed for 2019 and previous years from that. If someone is going to purchase the following year, like I have someone who changed their mind and they're going to purchase in 2021. So you can even look up future years because maybe you're already building your pipeline out for the future year. And that's how you keep track of your business.